And we're back just a little bit early, guys. Don't worry about it. If you're coming back to me, you may have to refresh. If not, don't worry about it. Because if you're in the chat, you should be okay. I'm going to refresh some of my screen so I know what's going on. Because it looks like we got a little bit of delay. No big deal. Hopefully it's coming through okay. If you can see us and hear us, make sure you say hi. Make sure everything's going okay. We got a little bit. Oh, okay. We are good. All right, let's go back into chat. John's not back yet. Before we dropped off, we were talking about Sabrina the Teenage Witch, or the Chilean episodes or whatever of Sabrina.
Yeah, slight differential, same characters, same actors.
Same characters, and it looks like the Satanic Temple is suing them because Netflix built their own Bahamut sculpture for the show, but used the Satanic Temple's version as reference, which is public domain. They did change it up so it wouldn't be there, but it looks like it is a PR stunt that they're doing. The Satanic Temple is doing it as a PR stunt, but the Church of Satan is not even part of it. So it's just a bunch of bullcrap. So they, because I did see the statue. I'm going to give a review for it later on, when we do the media section. But the Satanic Temple is suing the Sabrina show because they were using a monument that is very closely related to theirs, even though the monument is public domain. But the Satanic Church says it is a PR stunt by the Satanic Temple to do it. Which is, whatever.
Honestly, I was thinking the same thing when I originally heard it. I just thought, if you want to be a really big edgelord and a really controversial TV show, you should probably get sued by the Satanic Church or Temple.
So it's a PR stunt, nothing big. It probably won't even go anywhere. They'll probably do it. No big deal. Nothing. I'm looking at it. Defendants misappropriated the TST Bahamut children in ways implying the monument stands for evil, among other morally repugnant actions.
I could potentially see that because they went through a lot to get that monument erected.
Yeah.
Lesser popular in the same areas. They made a bunch of other monuments for other religions too.
Yeah. The Sabrina series, Evil's antagonist engages in cannibalism and forceful worship of a patriarchal deity. And that's what they're suing over. They'll lose. I don't even have to worry about that. They'll lose. If you're here and everything, John is not back yet, which is no big deal. He had to go leave, and we're getting everything back together. We are on episode... Oh, crap. Kathy's not here to tell us. Shit. I blame Jackie for that reason. Don't ask me why, Jackie.
Understandable. You just shared a 56 episode recently, so I don't know if that was related.
Yeah, so we're on 57.
Okay.
Yeah, because I just put in the pre-ramble 56, since it's a week away. So that's in there.
At least I'm keeping an eye on the stream for you.
Yep. Because Gonzo likes to finish early.
Oh, Luke comes crawling back to us.
Yep. So everything should be good. Today we're going to talk about Warmachine Weekend. What's it like? What fun we had. Any questions that you have. Jackie's first Warmachine Weekend was this weekend, so she's on the podcast for that reason. And then we're going to talk what to do after a con. Because there is something considered, I'd never heard about it until just recently, con depression, which I thought was an interesting term. And on today's show, while we talk about it, I am going to paint Terracon. I'm trying some new techniques. I figured I would do that and have a bit of fun while I do it. And if you didn't find me on Wednesday, I built all my stuff. And gonna have a good time. Well, while we're doing that, let's go with our tradition. Kathy, what are you drinking tonight?
Kathy's not here.
I mean, I'm sorry. Crap. Jackie, what are you drinking
Well,
tonight?
now I really want to know what Kathy's drinking right now.
Rum.
It's actually, it's just Propel Fitness water. We had a bunch of Christmas beers we were drinking, but they were from last Christmas, so they're finally gone at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting kind of old, long in the tooth for that.
Yeah.
I think.
John, what's on your
popular
agenda?
beer tonight was chocolate beer.
Oh, chocolate beer. Interesting.
Ooh, I had one of those last night.
I have a couple swallows left of my Sprite and Parrot Bay Pineapple Rum mix.
Okay.
I need to check the mix. The first one was a lot better than this one. And then I've got Kraken and Dr. Pepper afterwards. I'm not sure it's a good idea because my stomach's not doing well, but fuck it, it's Sunday. That's what we do.
Oh. Hey, Sabe. Yeah, nothing can compare to hold a candle to the Merlot. That, we will talk about that a little bit later.
Choose life.
I ran out of Maker's Mark, and so I had to grab a whiskey, and the only whiskey I had was Evan Williams.
Is it just straight Evan Williams, or is it one of their flavors?
No, it's just straight Evan Williams.
And, I realized something, and I'm going to rectify this. I just, I know today's Veterans Day, and I realized I have to have a proper shot for the veterans. So,
yes,
I'm going to open up the apple pie whiskey, which feels like that is the appropriate thing to drink. Apple pie, America. Fuck yeah. So, to all the veterans, past and present, cheers.
Cheers.
I drink all my drink.
Oh. That's right. As long as it cheers in your heart, it's all good.
We want to thank everybody for coming, especially today. And we also want to thank all our sponsors that are part of us. You can see them all over there. We'll have links and everything going up. I'm going to go and switch over to Paint Cam because I'm really kind of looking forward to painting this.
Paint Cam!
Paint Cam! Da-na-na! Da-na-na! Paint Cam!
Party time! Excellent! Oh, wait. Is that an old... I feel like that's a pretty old reference now.
It's still a good reference. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking about before we get started. I think I'm going to do his skin in this like desert yellow color, which is going to be this parts without the plates. And then the plates, I'm going to do a mixture of Dungeon Gray and Wolf Gray, which is going to be these parts. Here, here, and here. Because I am going to do his spine in an electrical type pattern with a Viking Blue, Blue Tone, and Toxic Mist. And washing it in.
So my only thought is to get the cool and warm colors to work better. Maybe you do the skin in the cool color, the scales in the warm color, and then the spine in the cool electrical pattern.
Correct. That's the reason why I kind of want to put this. This Wolf Gray has a light blue tint to it.
But that makes it a cool color. So you'd rather have that. Well, we'll see how it ends up. I just not sure. I can't picture it in my head.
I can't either. That's the reason why I'm going with this. So we're going to have to go with the Desert Yellow. I want to see how it is. I may have to darken it up.
Wash will do that after you're done.
Do what?
A wash could do that after you're done.
Correct.
That stuff takes wash pretty well.
Yeah. So we're going to do that first and get this started. So this last weekend was Warmachine Weekend 15. Which was the culmination of a long process. Of course, this was Carl's last one, he was our head organizer for a long time. Really good friend of mine. I consider my brother. Been doing Warmachine Weekend with him for quite a while. I remember Shorten Weekend 2 to now. I think I only missed like 1 or 2 because I was out of the game for a little bit, but overall it was really, really cool. And this was actually Jackie's first Warmachine Weekend.
Indeed.
So it was interesting. That's the reason why I have her on here, because she's cool like that. So, as everybody knows, Warmachine Weekend is one of the cons a lot of people look forward to, because not only is it a convention for Warmachine, but it is a big fun family, and I'm saying family not as in kid friendly, but as family as in family fun, because we all consider ourselves families.
Family in the Fast and the Furious way.
Yes. So that was done. This one went off and did really well. There was a lot of interesting things that were said and done.
I heard attendance was up, which is good.
Attendance was up this year. We're not 100% sure how much it was up, but it definitely was up this year.
Up is up. How
yes.
much is just a detail?
Yeah. Which is pertinent for what we need to do and talk about. Because I know there's a lot of questions about what was going on with Warmachine Weekend, and we'll just sometimes I can answer some of it, but I can't answer all of it. But we had a lot of cool events going on. I know that we had some new events and new things done, which were people really, 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 really enjoyed. And then we are going to try to add some new stuff. Jackie, what did you think of your first Warmachine Weekend experience?
It was pretty radical. I think it's been my favorite con so far. I really enjoyed how it was so Warmachine centric. I mean, it was Warmachine Weekend. It was just Warmachine. But if you go to other cons, Warmachine is like a corner, a small ballroom area. You know what I mean? There's a lot of other things going on.
Uh-huh.
It was nice to be able to bring the materials for one game, not 6 games with me.
Okay.
The environment was the venue itself was very nice. Really nice hotel and really nice area, and
yes.
Just getting to and from transportation, everything was extremely easily. It was a great location.
Yeah. Did you ever get to go to the bar and eat breakfast or anything like that at that the upstairs 5th floor?
I did. I went up there with you guys once.
Oh, that's right, you did.
Yeah. Shh! Don't tell anybody.
Good memory, Gonzo.
Hey, I've
You had a hard night, okay?
a lot of hard nights. Well, yeah, it was pretty busy. I was really busy this Warmachine Weekend, and not just with the invitational stuff. Doing a lot of other things. But it was pretty busy. If you ever get a chance and you can afford it, the I don't even know what it's called, lounge, is highly, highly worth it for the ticket, because it gives you access to a breakfast and access to a bunch of other things that you normally don't get. So,
Hi, Chili.
what? Chili in the house. But we did that. Jackie, what about what did you do? What events did you participate in? And tell us your experience on them.
I tended to participate in a lot more events, but the ones I chose were pretty long. My favorite event was definitely Hardcore. I wanted to participate in your tournament, but they overlapped by, I'm going to say, about 2 hours,
Yeah.
and any overlap is incompatible.
Yep.
It was very fun. It was really intense. There was a lot of wonky stuff going on, which was pretty enjoyable. I also had participated in the LCQ, which was really great.
How'd your LCQ battling go?
I got paired up with some really good people, which was awesome because it was a really good way to lose. They had good lists, and it was very competitive lists. And I think most of the people I played ended up going pretty far into the LCQ, but of course, there can only be one.
Da, 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 da.
If only Highlander followed that rule.
Yep.
Highlander's too crazy for me.
It's a movie reference.
Like only one movie, only one Highlander
Yes.
movie.
Yeah, it would have been better that way. But
Would've been
anyways,
better.
proceed.
What did you think about the LCQ? I mean, besides you said you went against who did you play against?
I don't remember their names particularly. I can tell you more or less about their list. A lot
Okay,
of people
that's
Facebook friended me afterwards, which was really cool because I was able to go, oh, that's the guy I played against. wow, he's really good at this game. I had no idea. um, After seeing their Facebooks and whatnot, I went against some pretty common lists. There was a really interesting Grimkin match that went on. It was pretty much like a mirror match.
Yep.
That was Chaos. I played against Crucible Guard guy. I did not realize how many different shots they had until I was actually playing against somebody who was running Crucible. I had the models and I read the cards, but I mean, it's like every model's got 3 different shots, and I just couldn't keep track of it all. It was definitely centric on that.
Yeah, Crucible Guard has a lot that people aren't aware of or aren't ready for. What did you... Okay, so you played in the hardcore. And for anybody that doesn't know, hardcore goes back to the old days where you have one list, you have time turns, and if your caster isn't in a certain area by a certain time, they take damage that isn't transferable or whatever. And you have to win. And of course, it's not only time turns, but a time tournament. And if nobody wins at the end of time, excuse me, when it's called by the judge, you both lose. So it's pretty strict.
It's OG.
Oh yeah, it's real OG. I remember that's how we played. That's what hardcore was. It was pretty badass. So it was interesting.
So Jackie, what were you playing? Just because someone in the chat room asked if you were playing the Bubblegum Grimkin.
I was playing the Bubblegum Grimkin, or my common joke: when I drink too much, it becomes a Bubblegum Gumkin. I really like the way that sounds too.
That's pretty good.
It's enjoyable. It's like a Neapolitan ice cream color scheme. I really need to go honestly touch up the models. Is one of the first things that I actually tried to paint. I usually play Silver Surfer armies when I play a game, but now that I've learned about some more techniques.
Is that like the Putar craft world for Eldar that I played?
Maybe.
Sounds kind of similar.
Just imagine lots of silver, like a disco ball, just floating around there. For hardcore, it's only one list, so I ran a child list for that. Which, speaking of rounds going so long, you both lose. It was 4 matches, and 2 of them ended with us both losing. Grimkin are very aggressive, and I bricked them up very well. And honestly, all I really had to do was just stand still and rile up 1 Skinnamones at a time and send them out there. I was able to take in a lot of models, and people had a very difficult time getting me on scenario or caster killing. And time is really fast in that game, so you run out of time fast, and you're done.
You said it was time turns, right, Gonzo?
Yes,
Old school?
it was time
turns.
Time turns is... That's a discussion for another time. I'm not going to go on a rant yet. Go ahead. Proceed.
Oh, you're good. Killbox. A lot of people killbox themselves in hardcore. I think with the turns being so fast, you don't realize it. You're like, oh crap, it's the end of turn 2, and I only moved my caster 5 inches. Because it only felt like, you're only at that point 14 minutes into the game. Which for me is typically my first turn is about 14 minutes. One of the longest turns of the game I take.
Yeah. It was interesting. I know a lot of people were like, wow, I'd only moved like 5 models. And some people just didn't understand what hardcore is and how to play hardcore. Because all you do is you pretty much get together and make the smallest, most badass army you can and put them out on the board and just try to stomp and beat as quickly as you can. You don't try to go anywhere. Don't try to do anything fancy. It's just beat or get beaten.
Small and not fancy. One guy brought Ghost Fleet. It was so many models.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my.
If he could do it, more power to him.
No,
I hope he did
not.
But yeah, that's a lot of models.
Nope. Just do stuff with your models. Doesn't matter if it's the right thing. As long as you're doing something, it's probably okay.
I did see that somebody said they die. No, you don't die. You take 5 points of damage that can't be transferred or shunked off or whatever. You had to just take the damage. if your caster was not within the circle.
Which is fine. It's a lot better rule than Killbox.
Yeah. So, I know that was really popular. A lot of people really liked that. That it was like, it's still competitive, but not too silly. And so there was a lot of people that said that they would like to have that next year, which is cool.
Cool.
Want to see about doing that, which I'm happy about. Anything they say, hey, we want more of, I'm really excited about. What else? You played in the LCQ. I had to judge that, so I didn't get much time to. My first day was pretty much that.
Well, you had to judge the LCQ, and then you had to play in the actual finals, huh?
Yeah, in the Invitational.
Yeah. That's it.
I did a lot of helping out and getting things done. That was a lot of thing to it. Thanks, Sabe. We are going to be doing something awesome with that next year, hopefully, for volunteers. So stay tuned. We know that there's a lot of people that were wanting to volunteer, but didn't get to, or something came up and we had to do it. But yeah, we are going to do something different next year. That way people can volunteer. Did you play any scrambles?
Actually, no, I didn't.
Wow.
I kept saying, I'm going to play a scramble. And then I wouldn't.
Did you play any board games?
No, but I also promised a lot of people to play a lot of board games with them, and I didn't do that either.
That's part of the fun of Warmachine Weekend, when there's not a lot of events going on. There's probably a board game going on, and guys were perfectly willing to have everyone come in and play.
I did play a lot of Monster Apocalypse. That's, in a sense, a game on a board.
You know what? I'll give you a pass. You played board games.
There we go.
Monpok was actually, that's something I wanted to talk about, was actually really, really, really popular this year. They had 3 tables set aside for demos. Oz and some other people got ready and started demoing, and those 3 tables were packed the entire weekend. Anytime the material was out, there were people playing Monster Apocalypse, learning about it, getting into it, figuring it out, you name it. It was pretty crazy how many people, because not only were the people playing it at the demo table, they had a Crush tournament, which I heard went really well. Crush is the name of the Monster Apocalypse tournament version. I'm not sure the complete, all detailed rules, but everybody really liked it. It's something, if it continues to gain traction, it's something we're going to look forward. We'll look to add next year, because that's any game that a lot of people want to play. We want to have it up there. But I mean, it was literally nonstop until, even when Oz was off work, people were still demoing it and playing it no matter what. So I was really happy about that. I picked up a bunch of models.
That's good. I'm always worried about a new game coming out, because the market, I mean, it's tough right now in the market.
Correct. But I mean, I think for the overall, everybody really enjoyed it. Everybody thought it was a very interesting concept. People were like, this is fun. I get to pick up another monster and throw him into a building. Yep, you can. Then I'm going to do that. I don't care what it does. I'm going to do that. But there was a lot of that going on. A lot of people were playing random pickup games, which is cool. Monpok. So I was really happy. Oz was there to give a lot of insight into it, and a lot of people, asked a ton of questions, which was really good. Crimson, a lot of people really want Monpok to succeed, which I'm really happy about. It's a game that you can play and have fun with, that you could just do a quick, fun game version of it and not have to worry about playing, a 75-part army, which we're good with. Chili, you're right. Not having it as a collectible is even better. That's the one thing that some of us were talking about, that being collectible would ruin the game. But doing it that way is very good. I'm getting up and getting a brown wash if I can find it. My PP brown ink. Because I think I'm going to ink wash that.
Sepia.
Oh, wait. I do have a sepia.
Sepia is a better call.
Oh, no. I have Seraphim. Yep, there it is. Yep, same thing. Let me try that. I'll try that. I haven't used that yet. I'm letting this dry for a minute. But Modblock really went off really well. They sold a ton of it. I picked up...
Yeah, they even ran out of dice.
Yeah. I picked up everything for Terracon, and I picked up everything for Zormax, because those are the two that I were interested in. And even the blisters. And I picked up all the buildings, too, which are really cool.
I really like the buildings. If they were... I considered them. I was looking for other games in scale that I might use them for, but couldn't think of anything, so...
Yeah. Xander gave me a really cool idea because he was talking about how he wanted to paint one, and I'm actually going to paint one like that. And I may do all of them. Paint them as night sky, as you know, like their buildings are in the night, so they're kind of lit up, and do a little bit of airbrush foo with some OSL for windows and stuff, which is really cool. I wanted to talk about something that kind of happened at Warmachine Weekend, which has never happened before. And this was the first year, and it kind of threw a lot of people off. This year, they didn't limit everybody to one per person, which is a weird and interesting thing, because every year, at every con, you're only allowed to get one of whatever model you want.
Per go through the line. Like, you get out, you go back through again, you can get a second one, if I remember correctly.
Correct, but I mean... Because I had a friend of mine, he's like, hey, can you ninja something for me? I'm like, okay. If it's something I'm not going to get, because they only allow one per person. And they didn't do that this year. Because I always run the VIP room, and help that run that and get it organized. And this year, they did not do that. Because I was like, all right, one per person. Then they were like, nope, not doing that this year. We want you to buy everything up so we don't have to ship anything back and worry about freight. And I'm like, totally understand that. And so what was funny is I walked out there. My friend was waiting, and I gave him his money back. And he says, what? And then I made the announcement. People were like, well, shit. And people were pretty stupid excited about that.
Did they run out of anything notable early or anything like that, or it all seemed to last most of the con?
I think it all lasted most of the con. I didn't see anything that was out.
That's good.
Just a couple pins, but that's really nothing significant.
Yeah, I mean, some things are going to run out because, I mean, you can't predict every stock perfectly. Trust me, I've tried.
But, I mean, overall, yeah, it stayed around, and people were buying. I mean... Now, most people were only buying one of something because you only needed one per army, which is okay. I'm not sure, like some of the circle stuff that was there. I was not expecting Zormak to be there because he wasn't listed as being there, but it wasn't that big of a deal. What else? That's about it. I mean, the one things that did sell out were the prints. There were quite a few prints that sold out. But they only bring a limited number of those anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Vendor hall went really well. Good. There was we didn't have any. We only had a couple people try to get in that didn't have VIPs, and we smacked them around until they were.
Did you call the Brute Squad?
Oh, it was myself and Erica that were Brute Squad, and we just picked them up and threw them out.
It's just a respond.
I am the Brute Squad.
Yep. And so that got
throwing movie quotes out for you, Gonzo. You're not picking them up.
No,
you got to give me something here. Something. Oh.
I did think it was interesting. I did have a lot of people, and I want to say complain, but a lot of people were kind of upset that the CID dropped right before Warmachine Weekend. But I think that was kind of done on purpose, so they could see how it would do.
Interesting. Oh, yeah, this was the CID. Oh, gotcha.
What was it, the Circle CID? What CID was it?
Yeah, the Circle CID came out right before Warmachine Weekend, which was a good test.
It's a bad idea, though, because no one's planned for it. It's
correct.
It's not good.
Yeah. There was that issue. Yeah. Sweaty is like, yeah, the no bags the first night was no bueno.
Oh, they had no bags for oh.
No, they couldn't find any bags.
Oh my god, that's no bueno.
They tell you just go to your hotel room and get your pillowcase, come back.
Yeah. Like I said, some people were using their shirts and stuff that they got for, Warmachine Weekend, which this was the VIP shirt. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it okay?
I've been trying not to look at you.
It was Death Messengers, and it's the Bomber and Scythe, I guess, from the Crucible Guard. I was lucky to get one. But a lot of people did not like that the CID dropped right before. Because, a lot of people plan their armies around their pairings that they're going to get, which...
Yeah, plus, being, like, the Invitational, like, you really should have this stuff... You should drop it right afterwards, because, the Invitational, it's a big deal.
Yeah. So, but people did the best they could, worked on it. I know quite a few people did paint their models before the tournament, so before the Invitational, so they could use it, because you still had to be fully painted, no matter when the model came out. And so anybody asks, if you're playing in the LCQ and you win the LCQ, yes, your models still have to be fully painted for the Invitational. We got asked that a lot. But I'm just like...
Speaking of, it was funny, because a lot of people were scrambling, trying to paint their models as quickly as they could if they made it to the second day round to the LCQ.
Yeah, that was quite interesting. That was funny. Sorry.
That's when you bring the crew in. Heck, bring random people in. You know how many people, like, you catch me at a con, I'm not doing anything, like, hey, man, can you help me paint a model or two real quick? I'm like, yeah, man, to help you get into that. Sure, why not?
Yeah, it was just hilarious. What else?
I mean, I'm not sure you want me painting your model. But...
As long as it's painted.
You like a Jackson Pollock model? Sure.
What else?
Nothing. I thought that was good.
I have a painting opinion.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, here it goes. So I always thought it was interesting, and I don't think it's a great idea. The painting obligations for these events don't obligate you to paint the arcs. You go to the standard shoulder width is where your arcing would be. Mm-hmm. But if you look at any model top down, there's a very good chance that their shoulder placement is not perfectly across the base. And I feel like arcing should be mandatory if it's going to be an event where painting is mandatory. Because that's one of the most functional things you could do while painting a model. Everything else is for fancy looking, but the arc is the actual function behind painting it. The end.
Actually, that
is a good idea.
That's not a bad idea.
As models get more and more ornate, look at scored models hanging over their base. Well, your shoulders aren't even over your goddamn face. So what's your arc look like?
Yeah.
You're like Extreme Gladiator. It's like balance on cork.
On the other side, as long as you are very super lenient on your arc to your opponent, if you haven't painted it, it doesn't really matter. Like I'm directly facing this guy, so yeah, you'd be out of my front arc, so you get, back and everything. As long as you're free with that, it doesn't matter as much, but you should probably paint the arcs and make it not even an issue.
Yeah. I agree with you. I will add that in there, that if the tournament requires fully painted, it must be arced completely too. Huge bases aren't that big of a deal because you just color that one little line. Yeah,
they have that built-in notch.
Arcing, yeah.
So I agree, Crimson, that arcs for some people ruin the look of a model, a work of art. But this is a tournament, and it's like for a game. Like in your general models, I ain't as big of a deal about it, but it is a tournament, and it is, a big deal to a lot of people. So you should probably paint the arcs on those.
Yeah, even if you notch your arc, like if you don't want to paint it all the way.
Honestly, I feel Mark IV could get rid of that and just make any rules that worry about arcs not matter as much. Because they don't matter a lot. I've played enough of games where arcs don't matter at all to realize they're not a super huge deal. Yeah. The only game that are super duper huge deal in is like Infinity, because someone's behind you, you can't shoot them, and that's no bueno.
And you can repaint over the markings. It's actually not a bad point. I can bring it up with the committee.
Or also, I know Advanced Deployment, who are no longer doing anything, used to make little arc things you put on the front that you can put on the front of your base to sort of declare where your arc is. If they're not making that, we can find someone to make that and just get those things and put them on your models. Okay, this is my arc right here. This is the front arc.
My friend 3D printed a bunch of those. It was very cool. There's a blueprint somewhere on the internet, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a blueprint for that. But she actually made plastic, like clear acrylic things you could put, nominally for painting your arcs, but you could put it on to just say this is your arc. They do that for X-Wing 2.0 now. They have a turret thing where you turn it to go, this is my turret. You can be like, this is my arc, here. But, it's easiest just to paint your arcs.
Yeah.
If you're an artist, make it all arty and cool. Do some cool symbolism. I've seen a ton of those, and that looks so good.
Oh, the little graphic symbols and stuff on there too.
Yeah, that's like next level.
Or if you're someone who doesn't want to paint your front arc because you think it would ruin the image, just paint the black arc back. Because most of the time the back of the bottle isn't too crucial,
I paint the back of mine black and the front of mine, the front of mine black and the back of them my primary color. It makes it easier for me to figure out. Seb, you want to know which one?
Oh, what's your paint cam? What cam?
My PIM. This is a C930, I believe. It's on our Facebook page. It's on the page of the Twitch page of all of our stuff. Of which one's
it's a 930 right there.
Yeah, 930. If you look on our,
so if you scroll down, it's under equipment.
Yeah, under equipment, we've got it under there. And if you use that link, we get a small kickback from Amazon for all of our equipment that we use. Why does it look pretty good? I've never actually watched it on besides what I'm doing right now. So I guess it looks decent. Let's see what else. I did run the steamroller with a twist, which had some really cool things to it. I think one of the ones that Airbay thought was very cool and very fun was spend 5 minutes of your death clock discussing how Nicolas Cage is the thespian of our time. Cite examples, which was a lot of fun. I had a lot of people that played that. Do what?
Firebirds. Firebirds? Or Top Gun in an Apache helicopter? Yeah. I'm telling you, a Nicolas Cage tour de force because he's got to go against Tommy Lee Jones. And they're both all in.
I had the people that played in that were really happy to do that because a lot of them were not heavy into the tournament scene, but wanted to play and just have fun and not worry about clocks or, the standard tournament stuff, which I understood. That's the reason why we did it.
You just gave me an avenue for a rant. We need to, at all big events, get more casual events. There are guys who don't want to go full-on whole hog tournament, but love to come out, hang out with the awesome crew, and hang out, just have a good time, see the new models, get new models, have the con experience, but don't necessarily need to play in, the for real serious business tournament.
Yeah.
They just want to play and have a good time. So we need to find events for those people.
Yeah. And that was the reason behind it, was just to let that go and not have to worry about it too much. Which turned out really well. People really enjoyed it. They had a blast. We had a special award, which was made by Mechanica Studios with our logo on it. Woo woo to the people that did that. And that won it. And I got to brag, Aaron made me a new dice tray. And,
is it sweet?
Oh my god, this dice tray is amazing. It's black with a white stripe down the middle of it, and then leather on the bottom of it.
Oh. You didn't show me this dice tray. Did you get it on Sunday?
I got it on Friday, Saturday, something like that. We were all busy drinking.
Gonzo, you have failed.
I'll take a picture of it.
There was a lot of heavy drinking going on. I'll accept that.
Well, hold on. I gotta call shenanigans. You say there was heavy drinking at Warmachine Weekend? What?
Someone call the popo.
Look, Chili said he was mostly sober through the event. It couldn't have been that heavy of drinking.
Chili was being a nice guy this year.
He said his back was acting up. He had to be careful, which is a smart play.
Yeah.
As a wise man once said, as a man's got to know his limitations.
Yes. Let's see, what else? I know that Colossal Wrestling went off really well, too.
Excellent.
People were having a blast. Jeff Easterman.
Goddamn right.
Yeah.
That's the man for it.
Yeah.
I was hoping he was there running it.
Yeah, he is the person to run that no matter what, because it's just a blast. And people were just having a blast, saying stupid stuff and making stupid remarks. Yeah. Colossal Wrestling people were going stupid crazy over that, which was really good.
Awesome.
Because I'm always worried about having silly events at the tournament because some people, whether people are going to do it or not, but it was the right time and the right place, and people just went balls fun with it. I mean, they were shouting and yelling and making stupid remarks.
The con is the perfect place for that. No one looks at you strange at a con.
Yeah.
If you're at your local game store doing that, people start to look at you a little strange. And the Magic players are like, what the hell are those guys on about? Then we just look at them and threaten to whoop their ass.
Yeah.
But, that's how it goes.
But it turned out really well. I think they had like 20 or so players for that, I think. So, I mean, it was really good. I was really happy with that. I didn't get to participate or even get to go and spend hardly any time in the painting area. But I know a friend of mine, a lady that roomed with us, Lacey, she didn't play in anything but did nothing but go paint. And she had the best compliment because she went to go paint and sat down, and people just started talking and socializing. And it was a super friendly atmosphere, and I'm like, that's what we want.
Well, I told you, like, my first experience on Warmachine Weekend, after Not Brushhead Dave and I check in, I'm hanging out. Nathan Hoffman's like, hey, how you doing? Have a beer. Come sit down, play this board game with us.
Yeah.
He may have known my reputation after he heard my name, but he didn't know on sight who the hell I was.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, it's great. People really friendly.
Yeah. Which is what kind of we do.
I got to meet him in person over this con, too, actually.
We
We were Facebook friends for a while.
Nate's a good dude and very interesting. He's amusing.
Well, he saved my life because he brought many snacks, and there were times where I was going a while without consuming food, so sometimes a little bit of gummies are what keep you going,
Let me give you my tournament prep and con prep hints. Granola bars. Filling and usually have enough nutrients to keep you going.
Yep. Ah! Dropped.
Oh, no.
Drops.
He'll be okay. He's a big lizard.
Yeah.
In my back. Big lizard in my backyard.
But
Sorry.
So it seems like your tail of your model, where it bends in the bottom, has an indent. I don't recall seeing that on my model, so I wonder if that indent is an issue with the mold, or maybe it's just a little detail that I did not see.
Let me see.
It's
where at?
It's underneath your model. Like if you were to turn it upright, right around where your brush is, there was an indent there when you were coloring it in.
Yeah. That's part of the tail, the plates on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
It's weird that yours didn't have that.
I don't think it did. I feel like I would have immediately noticed a big old chunk kind of not there,
Well, if yours isn't oriented the exact same way, you may not notice it as much.
Yeah.
Interesting. You gonna paint the underside of that tail any there, Gonzo? It's really black right now.
Where?
Under the tail.
That's plates. Those are plates.
Okay, just checking.
The plates are going to be that gray-blue color, I'm telling you.
I'm just checking up on you, man.
Checking up on me. Let's see what else. There was a lot of... Can someone open up a good restaurant? I know that someone got food poisoning from Fuzzies.
You know that I missed the old man tournament the one year I was there because I got food poisoning from a really late night grilled ham sandwich.
Yeah.
I was no bueno than I have never thrown up so many times in my life.
Oh God. I'm proud of myself for not getting food poisoning.
Yeah, there was actually someone that did.
John, you're hungover. I'm like, I'm not hungover because I feel great, and then I throw up everything, including water, and still feel great afterwards. I wasn't going to go out into public throwing up water.
That's a bad call, people.
Yeah. It has some decent restaurants. They're not great. They're decent. I had Fuzzies, and it wasn't a problem for me, but I had the fuzzy chickens, so...
Is it the same place it was at, or they changed venues in there?
Well, when was the last time you went there?
Oh, God, do you make me remember a year? Like 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
No, it's still been there.
Okay. I thought that place was pretty good. Got the taco place across the plaza?
Yeah.
I eat more at the taco place than anywhere. But...
Yeah. What else?
I got to meet a lot of very cool people in person for the long time, and a lot of new people that I was not previously friends with on the internet.
That's usually every time I come back. I'm like, why aren't we Facebook friends? And it's people I've had there forever. I'm just like, oh, I need to put these people as Facebook friends, and then I put them as Facebook friends. And you usually get hit with that type of stuff when you come back or during, so not a big deal.
Chile remembers this 3 years ago. Thanks, Chile.
Yes, the luggage cart.
Yeah. So that's the funny story is we get there and I'm waiting for Minot John and we're supposed to all go to dinner together. And I said hi to Chile when he shows up. It's cool. Between the time he showed up and the time John got in and we got ready to go to dinner, Chile was too drunk to go to dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the year that I got the award for holding on to Chili's glasses overnight because nobody knew where he was.
Good man.
Yeah, so I held on to his glasses.
That was a good one. I'm going to try and go next year. We'll see how funds go. As anyone listen to Preamble knows, I just bought a new car, so funds are slightly more limited than they were Friday.
Yeah. So, I think that should be an achievement at Warmachine Weekend.
Holding on to Chili's glasses?
Yeah.
I would say holding on to a drunk person's glasses for them. Don't make it just Chili. Chili might be having a good day.
Well, everybody watches out for everybody.
You have to hold on to Chili the whole time.
Oh, that might get creepy.
Hold on to Chili. I think Chili had a concussion that weekend from hitting so many things with his head on the luggage cart.
I remember them wheeling around on a luggage cart. It was the damnedest thing.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
It was hilarious. Yeah, usually everybody gets and holds on to him because everybody looks after everybody there. Make sure nobody gets in trouble.
Shots fired every time I can on this. At least you shouldn't have your podcast partner leave you halfway through a drunken review of a shitty movie to go play in a role-playing game. That's you, Menace John, if you ever listen to this. I'll never forgive you for this. Alright, we're done.
What else? I did get to play in the Invitational. The sad thing is I didn't go further than the first round. Which is okay. No big deal.
Yeah, those guys are pretty good.
Well, the thing is my first round opponent, Ben Hampshire, really cool guy. Him and I actually talked before even the tournament, and we got to know each other because I know him. And we're both dropping Dreamer, because anytime someone has a Dreamer, you have to drop the Dreamer. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to drop the Dreamer because I hate the mirror match, and I've played it, and pretty much the mirror matches with Dreamers, whoever goes second wins.
Oh, that's terrible.
And so I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do that. But he goes, well, if we both drop it, we roll off and we'll do a gentleman's agreement and stuff. And I'm just like, really? What I really want to do is I just want to play a good game. So I dropped my bump list, which they were like, you're just going to lose hardcore, Gonzo. And really, I didn't, because on one turn I went up to 3 control points and was very close to winning it, and actually scared Ben a little bit because he was like, oh shit, you could just take this. And I'm like, yep, because that's what my bump list does.
Gonzo, let me tell you what, send me that Dreamer list, the common ones. I'll do some dojo. I'll look at it and see if you maybe have some options good options besides the mirror match. I might see something people are missing.
Yeah, it's...
I'm a dark horse guy like that.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, I had a great time. It was a really good game. It was good. I thought what the most hilarious thing is, we had one guy, a friend of mine, Josh, was helping judge and just helping make judge calls if it were needed. And he's standing there and he's like, shit, will you two ask for something because I'm bored? And I'm like, no. And he's like, I guess that's what it's like when people know the rules and know how to do everything. You don't have to worry about calls like that. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's kind of what it is. And he's like, this is boring. So he just sat and watched our game, which I thought was pretty dang funny.
As a judge, I find that to be the best. I want people who don't have to call me. It's
Correct.
Great.
But I just thought it was interesting. I did hear someone made a really good comment to me that somebody was giving me crap because I didn't win any invitational. But Ben and Dave were like, you know what? We don't look at that as bad. We look at it as good because you played a whole bunch of tournaments and got second and third at a lot of tournaments.
Hold on.
How many invitationals did you go to?
I think I went to
fucking lot.
Well, so at least you made it to Invitational.
No, well,
So, like,
well, that's the thing. I went to like
LCQ.
10 different things, and I scored second and third at a lot of them. There was like only one or two that I didn't score in the top 8. And they were like, we think that's really cool that you got second and third in almost everything you played because it means you show consistent behavior, which I thought was really interesting that they told me that. So I just
Next
thought...
time, Gonzo, just call me. I'll answer, and I will tell them to go fuck themselves for you.
No, I just never heard that before, so I was just really
It's
impressed.
bullshit.
Yeah.
That's what the rules are for. People didn't show up, you get a spot. That's sort of the point of the whole thing.
No, they were like, we like that you were able to do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that, but people who have that problem, you
I'm
know,
not
I have
worried
a
about
problem
that.
with these people who are just starting to get uppity,
Yeah,
self-entitled. I don't like self-entitled in that case. Uppity.
yeah.
Calm the fuck down.
But I
That's
did
why-
find it was interesting that later that evening or Sunday, I was talking to my friends and stuff, and they were like, "Gonzo, what did you do to get completely in the tournament?" And I says, "I just went to a lot of tournaments and practiced and played a lot." And they were like, "How are you so good?" And I don't consider myself a good player. Anybody that calls me a good player, I think they're just bullshitting me.
If you finish second or third at a lot of tournaments, you're a good player.
Shut up, John. So I just said I went and I went and I went and went. Now, luckily, I have a job where I can during the summer do that. So, I mean, that's not a big problem. But it was, they were like, I think that's how I want to get in next year. And I says, well, then go do it.
Do it. Yeah.
Go. We want
Experience-
people to go to
experience
all
built.
these tournaments.
Honestly, like as Intervote said, consistently second, third is just a couple of good decisions or a couple of amazing dice rolls away from being first.
I didn't care. I just thought it was interesting that because he says that's a mentality overseas is like one person can get first place, but consistently getting second and third and first is different than getting it just once.
Yeah, if you consistently place, then I mean, that's a sign that you're a good player.
Well, because he says that Americans, because of course he's from England, were saying that we have an obsession with we're first or nothing, and it made me think. And I says, we're right. We do have an obsession of first or nothing.
Oh yeah, it's been long stand. I mean,
Yeah.
when you can make a whole movie where that's part of the punchline.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. But I just thought it was interesting. It was a comment that kind of stuck with me all through the convention.
Well, here's my 2 cents in that comment. Hope you guys are ready. People dropped from that tournament. So if a situation like that where you got in second a lot and you weren't allowed in the tournament, the alternative to not letting people in the tournament would be buy rounds, which means somebody is just going through a buy round rather than actually playing a good game of Warmachine. It just doesn't seem like that's a good alternative in my book.
No, it's definitely not. You're definitely correct there.
Well, my whole thing this year was to try to get in. I got in. I was happy. I didn't get raffle stomped, so I was happy. I played
my
a
buddy
good
Petey
game.
says, I don't need to win every game. I just want to give my opponent a good game.
Correct.
If he doesn't give his opponent a good game, he gets angry at himself because he feels like he didn't do enough to make this, worth the opponent's time.
So it was good. It was good and it was sad. For the people that didn't, like I said, this was Carl's last one. But Chris and I planned something as soon as Carl told us that he was quitting. We planned to give him the AKA Explosive Award, which is the award for best sportsman or, best overall good con type experience.
Mm-hmm.
And him and I talked about it and what we were going to do with it. And the one thing we did that I thought was hilarious was that we convinced Dallas to take the award so it would seem like Carl wouldn't get it. because we had devised a new award called the Hot Carl, which that's his nickname around us, anybody knows. And we had Dallas convinced that it was a joke. But Dallas is a long-term member of the community, has been doing this for a long time, and we actually gave it to him since we gave a new award out. So it was a good running joke, and we got Dallas too, so that was hilarious. I thought it was really, really cool.
I got the privilege of watching that, even though I had to leave the convention before it happened because Zoisha streamed it, and it was really nice to be able to catch it.
I know. I saw Chile filming it, and then I saw Zosha film it. I didn't know it was going live, which I think we need to do more often. Now with technology able to do that, we're able to stream stuff like that live.
Yeah, why not do it?
Yeah.
You know?
I thought that was pretty cool. What else? We had a lot of... The guys from, was it Fight in a Box were there too, and they played a couple of their games and demoed some stuff, which was really cool. People liked, which it was nice seeing them there because they always have some good, fun, quick party games, I like to call them, which is good. We had new... didn't have any new, really, tournament stuff. Like, every once in a while we'll have, like, there's a new tournament tracker or a new, whatever.
Tournament tracker.
Type thing. Which, by the way, if anybody wants to buy our tournament stuff, please go do that ASAP. I know that we didn't get all of that stuff there whenever we wanted to, but the More Than Dice stuff is available on Broken Egg Games. Because if you buy that, we turn it around and put it directly back into our podcast.
Yepers.
Which is going to go for new equipment. Party on. Excellent. I know a lot of people had questions about next year, and we kind of were working on it. Since Carl's stepping down, we are working on next year, guys. We can't tell you anything, can't go over anything. Invitational.
Plans are being formulated.
Yes.
Yeah, they said something similar to that during the stream I was watching. They were like, "We gotta get big plans." The end. Haha.
Yeah, we just can't talk about it. You misspelled it. There's an O in there.
I appreciate the effort, though.
Yes. We are working on it. We have talked with all the other staff about helping out and doing things. It said I was sending too fast.
Yeah, there's have a limit.
Yeah. But we've got plans. The invitational is almost ready to be sent out. We have plans to do some new cool stuff next year. So hang tight. What time is it, by the way?
It's 54, and we haven't even talked about the social yet.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So
5 minutes to talk about the social. Go.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about it as long as I want. It's my podcast. I can do what I want.
I'll start off. I will say that Tim gave a excellent, warmer speech, inviting us all to the community and the togetherness and the most fun part of Warmachine, which is between the games. I get to try a bunch of new things right afterwards.
For anybody that didn't know, there was a Warmachine Weekend social, which we're going to be doing every year. It's where we all get together on the back patio or wherever we're at, and we just hang out and drink and talk about other things. We don't necessarily talk about Warmachine. We talk about life, people's kids, what they did for the year. Because sometimes that's the only time I get to see people is this one time. And really, not that I don't like Warmachine Hordes, but I really want to know what everybody does. We had a lot of liquor.
Shock.
Yeah, real shocker. A lot of stuff. A lot of people were drinking plenty of things. I think we ended up with like 20 some-odd bottles of liquor.
I forgot to take a picture of it.
Yeah.
That would have been a great picture.
I hope someone has it somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool because everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people brought kind of like their hometown brew. Our one friend from the streams from the south, and he brought some southern drinks. Tim brought some Canadian, I'm assuming.
He brought Sortilege.
Okay, I don't know if it's inherently owned by the Canadians, but
it's Canadian.
Oh
okay.
And he brought sorrel-leaves, and he brought two or three different types. And so we had plenty of alcohol. And we sat around and talked and BS'd. Hungerford was out there with us, enjoying it. It was a good time. It was a good time to just sit and social. That's kind of what we planned on it.
That's what separates us from the video gamers.
Yeah.
No,
it's true.
No shots fired in that one. It's just a statement of fact, not shots firing in this. In one case in my life, I'm not shots firing on somebody.
Yeah. But I mean, what else? We didn't do... we did get an episode of Dawn of the Harbinger in.
Oh my gosh, cool. Yes we did. At like 2 a.m.
Yeah. Which was a really good one.
His best role playing.
That's when I was eating fuzzy tacos while we were role playing. And it was actually kind of funny because I nearly made Tim cry at the end.
Nearly. I debate if it was nearly or not.
Yeah, it was interesting because Tim was very, very emotional by what happened. But it was really fun to do that at the convention because we don't get to see each other but once a year now, pretty much. So that was interesting. Other than that, I think it was... I had a blast. If anybody had any issues or any problems with it, please let me know. Please tell me, and I will definitely try to solve them. I mean, there were some people that said that next year if we could do XYZ, it would be better, and I'm like, okay, I can see how that would be. So I don't have a problem with it.
So let me hit you with a setup there, Gonzo.
Uh-huh.
How many space herpes would you give Warmachine Weekend 2018?
0. 0 space herpes. It was a blast. Really, it was. It was good seeing... And you know what's funny? We had a lot of new people, too, which was really good.
A lot of young people, yes.
A lot of young and new people, which is good.
I worry about the state of the game, and hearing that makes me happy.
Yeah.
A lot of parents with their kids, especially in the paint hall. At Gonzo, you probably even have a chance to walk in there, but like a lot of like very, very young adults were painting. And I taught Monpok to a couple of kids that range from 14 to 18.
Which
young
is good.
Adults, I won't say kids.
Nope.
They're kids, trust me.
But I mean, it was good. There was a lot of good people there. There was a lot of good fun. I didn't hear a lot of judge arguing stuff. Like I said, I did the LCQ, and there wasn't, this back and forth arguing or anything. A lot of them were...
One of the best points of Warmachine is it's got one of the best tournament rule sets.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, it was really solid. I had a blast. I hope everybody... And if you have a suggestion of how we can improve, you know me. Get a hold of me. Send something to me on Facebook. If you have my email address or you have my phone number, send me a text. I don't have a problem. As soon as we have something to announce, we'll announce it. Hopefully soon. So, other than that, I think we're ready to go to... Media section?
Media section.
Media! All right.
Spoiler here. I'm going to be talking about this soon. I just picked this up at the local store.
Ooh!
It was half price, and I cannot pass up a half price rulebook for a game that looks interesting.
Nah, I don't blame you.
Being skirmish level fantasy stuff from Mantic. It's a pretty solid company. So we'll see how that is.
So, all right, for media section, I'm going to still try to work on my model a little bit while we're doing this. Because I've got, letting stuff dry. And I need to see where I need to add some more wash. Because it's not sticking as well. But, for media section, I have roughly 3 things to talk about. John, how many you got?
About 3.
Jackie?
Like 1.
Like 1.
You're filling Kathy's spot admirably.
Cheer. All right, let me...
Count good books.
You can take books.
New games, board games, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Anything that's not part of miniature gaming in the general. Anything that's outside of that kind of media, comic books. You watch those? I mean, shit.
I played a board game last night. So I'll just say I have two things then.
Okay. I can go with my first one. I have recently started watching the Chilean Adventures of Sabrina, which, as we talked a little bit about in the pre-ramble in the beginning of this, was a remake of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I was very hesitant to watch it because usually when you remake something, it's either really, really bad or it's really, really good or it's just type thing. But I mean, and when I mean it usually means it's bad. So I went in kind of open-minded, started looking in it, started watching it, got like 2 episodes in, stopped it, went and looked online, and I saw a video of the original cast watching a new episode of the show, and it was pretty hilarious of what they were saying. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. This is Sabrina, the adult version. And when I say adult, I don't mean like, X-rated. I mean, they don't cut any, corners or whatever. Everything's done very mature. The writing is really good. Lines are really good. The characters are really good. They kind of make it twist into a Harry Potter type theme in there because she has to go to witch school. But everything is, they don't skimp.
Which school did you go to?
Witch school?
Yeah, which one?
That witch school.
Hogwarts.
But it is pretty dark at points. They hit on some pretty interesting topics, things that are relevant to today. But they take on some interesting concepts, women empowerment, talk about different sexualities, you name it. It's all in here. Very relevant to the times. The characters are very, very good. Both of the aunts are really fun to watch. Very entertaining. The only thing I have to say, I'd like to see more Salem stuff. Because the cat is and was very intricate and talked a lot. And this one hasn't done. I'm only about halfway through the season right now. So I've just got to wait. But it very hits on a lot of satanic elements, a lot of demon type stuff. The witches aren't all nice. One of the things I thought was funny is whenever they were talking, the original cast was like, yeah, when Sabrina did a magic spell, she would wave her hand and glitter would come out of her finger and, it would all be happy. No, Sabrina makes spiders run all over a human's body and makes them sick. And, it was just like, they don't hold any punches. I highly recommend it. I'm only about halfway through. Go for it. Start watching it. If you're about halfway through and you don't like it, you're not going to. But it was really cool. The way they film it is very interesting, especially at the very beginning to about halfway through. The filming is done where it's the background during certain scenes where like magic is being done or demons. They like pixelate or streak the backgrounds. So it centers on the character, and you catch that on the eye. So the cinematics is really cool. But if you want a more of adult type themed Sabrina, go for it. Highly recommend it. Kind of hits that Harry Potter itch a bit. So
it's based off the recent comic book reboot of Sabrina, which is a little darker.
Yeah,
very similar from what I understand.
But highly recommend it. Go for it. I'm just going to tell you. Just go for it. Watch a few episodes. You'll get into it. The character's really good. Cinematography, everything. Right now, I'm at 0 space herpes.
Awesome. So since you're talking about Netflix and TV series, I'll talk about what I watch on Netflix right now, which is Flash still. I'm still in season 1. I'm about halfway through, and I'm really, really enjoying it. It gets a little CW at points, as is understandable since it's a CW TV series, but it still stays much more comic booky than Arrow does through its first 2 seasons. and I'm enjoying the crap out of it. I will continue on with about one Space Rupee, because occasionally it's a little sappy or groan-inducing, but never to the point where I'm like, I need to stop this episode before I throw up a little bit in my mouth. Enjoy where it's going. I love the actor they have. I love all the actors they have playing on there. I actually even wish they had maybe run the storyline a little slower with... I'm not going to spoil, but there's some twists with some of the characters, and I wish they would have run those twists slower, but they obviously had it planned to get through it in the first season, more or less, so that's kind of cool. But I really enjoy it. If you like superhero stuff, it is the most comic booky of the superhero series I've seen. Even more comic booky probably than Legends of Tomorrow, which goes a little the other way. You know, if Arrow's a little too CW, this Flash is sort of the middle, and then Legends of Tomorrow was a little far on the other side. But yeah, still one Space Rupee for now. Jackie, you want to hit us with something?
Yeah, sure. I'll throw it off course here. So I played a board game yesterday. Mm-hmm. It's a board game that's not terribly new, but it's one that I recently got. The newer edition of Cash and Guns. Oh. The more racially sensitive edition of the game. We'll say that.
Oh, shots fired.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the old game. I love it. We played a lot. And the newer edition is 4 to 8 people. We were able to max out players, which was definitely much more fun. The superhero powers are a little better in this game, whereas the older game, you had more limitation. So essentially the game is you are at a standoff. You robbed a bank with a couple friends, and now you're splitting up the loot. All of you have a gun, and the gun is made out of foam. And in the gun, you have a chamber. The chamber has 3 bullets in it. And it's kind of like it's a mess, because you have a gun with 3 bullets in it. You can shoot 3 people. You might lie down and hide, in which you don't shoot them because you don't shoot cowards in the game. And you try to get as much loot as possible and try not to die from gunshot wounds. It's got a couple different modes. Although the rules are simpler in this edition, the loot and the system behind it's a little more complex, so it definitely balances itself out. Whereas in the earlier edition, you could do certain things that would just totally just wreck the game, and really, there's a good chance you'd win. So you got that one friend who likes to Google everything. He would know immediately what to do, what to take to how to, break the balance behind the game. So I will say it is much more balanced, although a little simpler.
Well, simple but balanced is better than complicated but unbalanced.
Yeah. The only dislike about it, and I'll give it 2 Space Rupees for this, is a couple of the modes, especially my favorite mode versions of the game, no longer exists in this more balanced version. So the actual games you can play are limited, because although there is that one main scenario, there's alternative gameplay in the board game itself. So I'd like to see an extension, an addition to it, some kind of advancement to the board game, because it kind of stops. You play a couple rounds and you're done with it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So maybe the replayability isn't as good as it could be, and you could use an expansion to make that better?
Yes, indeed.
Fair enough.
I guess it's my turn. Yeah. Okay, so as being chilling out from Warmachine Weekend and not doing a lot of stuff, except for my Wednesday painting hangout, which I'm going to continue to do. Please join me on that. It makes it a whole lot better when people watch.
It's on Facebook, not Twitch, just in case you're wondering.
Yes, which we're going to do it on Facebook because a lot of people can't do Twitch. Yeah, it's a lot easier.
We're trying to get a little plan of both.
And so I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 because I bought it right before we went to Warmachine Weekend, which was kind of bad on my part, but oh well. And I noticed something. Don't get me wrong. This game is fantastic. I have a few nitpick problems. One of my nitpick problems is there's so much fucking things to do in here. I mean, there is way too much shit to do. And I know
there's no such thing as too much shit in a game you pay money for.
Correct. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's a nitpick thing because I'm kind of a completionist.
No, you fucked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And the game is really, really good, and there's so much you can do. I want to complete the story because the story is it's pretty decent. It's pretty fun. And then I'm like, you know what? I want to go hunting because I want to get this new gear because you have to go hunt and skin perfect
Gotta get a perfect
hides
pelts.
and get the
Good
pelts.
luck getting
and-
a perfect bear hide.
and I was like, this is outrageous because I spent 2.5 hours just hunting and I enjoyed the shit out of it.
Why is that outrageous? You
It's like the
enjoyed it.
best-
I know.
Like
That's what I'm saying.
Trail.
I was like so lost in it because I was just like, I'm just running around shooting animals, killing them, skinning them. And I'm like, this is amazing. I lost 2 hours of time just fucking off. And like I said, it's a nitpick thing. But there's so much to this game. There's a lot more than anything else. I haven't fully robbed a train yet. I tried doing it. No bueno.
What?
Yeah. Everybody kills me. And I'm still learning the combat system again because it's so different. Because if you just play through the story, your character is going to be very weak. That's something I've learned. My character is very weak from just playing the story because I haven't done all the side stuff to improve my skills and my hit points and my abilities and perks. So I'm not this badass, shooter that I need to be for the game. And you don't live very long in this game when you're shot, which is okay.
I've heard that, yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. That's the point of the game. I mean, this isn't, super badass armor type stuff. A problem I do have with the game is that the targeting system to like pick up stuff or to maneuver around things is really kind of wonky. Like I'll walk around something to go pick it up and I'll totally miss it. So I have to go back up, back in, back up, back in. And that's just a little bit of annoyance. I don't want to say the game has too much. There's just a lot to this game. The characters
I've heard
are...
some complaints about the same stuff you're talking about. People like accidentally punching their horse and shit.
Yes, I have accidentally punched the horse. I've accidentally punched an NPC and got wanted, and I'm like, shit.
That's not good.
Yeah, so I'm like, there
Hostage
is that.
no joke.
Yeah. But I mean, overall, it's very solid, very gorgeous. You can do whatever the hell you want. You rob anybody you want. Do whatever you want. Kill anybody you want.
But there are
Steal.
consequences.
Yeah, there are consequences, especially if someone sees you. There was one time I was getting money from a guy because he owed me money because we're a loan shark. And I punched the guy out and took his money, and then I got busted for punching the guy out, and I chased the guy down that was going to turn me in and punched him out so he couldn't turn me in. So there's always that. Overall, the game is very solid. I think one of the coolest things in the game that I've never seen or actually participated is the very beginning of the game, these two guys tried to rob me. So I shot and killed them. And they were right next to the road, and I've been traveling this road nonstop, back and forth, because fast travel is very limited in this game. And I'm sitting there traveling back and forth, and it's been many, 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 many days I've been doing this. And I said, oh, I see that there's something over there. And it's the decomposing body of one of the guys I killed at the very first of the game. Bodies don't just disappear when you kill them. The bodies decompose. And eventually they rot and shrivel up and then so on and so forth. Which I think is a unique, very cool feature to the game. I've never seen it before. I think it's very interesting. Is it going to be awesome, cool, break the bank? Who cares? It's just the attention to detail. That to me is just really freaking cool. If you have the ability to get the game and you want a game that's going to take you a while and you can have a lot of stuff to do, a lot of neat things, a lot of cool writing. Example, I'm supposed to scare off these guys to take their herd. So I get this, it's when you first get the sniper rifle. You're supposed to shoot the ground. All right, I shoot the ground because the guy tells me to shoot the ground. Scares off. This one guy doesn't scare off, and he's like, all right, shoot the ground next to that guy and scare him off. I'm like, fuck it, I'm a bad guy. I shoot him in the head and kill him. And the guy goes, well, okay, you can ignore what I said and just kill the guy. Works the same way. And I'm like, okay, I like that writing. Because they could have just left it, all right, let's go down and get our stuff. But no, his acting changed to what I did in the game, which is good to me. So if you like it, you like good cowboy games, and you like good sandbox games, 100% go get it. Not done with it. I'm only 30% through the game right now. So can't wait for the rest of this stuff. Highly recommend it.
30%.
Zero space herpes.
Damn, you zero space herping everything today.
Yeah.
Jeez, Gonzo.
Disposing of bodies is a thing because people can see it and you will get investigated, FYI. So, yeah. 100%. Love it. Go do it. Go play it. If not, go get a machine that you can.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, I'll skip to the main event, which is Solo, which you were supposed to watch.
But Kathy wasn't here.
It doesn't matter. So, my mom hadn't seen Solo. We see all the movies like that in the cheap theater near me, but since they released it in the heat of summer season, it wasn't in a cheap theater long enough for my mom to get time to come see it. So, we missed it. So, adventures aside, we saw it. And the first thing I really have to say about it, that movie is really dark. I don't mean as in very, brutal or anything like that. I mean, like, dark, like coloring. It was really hard to watch certain scenes because it was so damn dark. And they need to fix that. I know they're trying for a style, but you need to be able to see what's going on in a scene. It's important. This isn't a horror movie where being dark is a bonus and makes it more mysterious. This is, Star Wars. You want to see the things going on. So that's definitely something we criticize the game over, or the movie over, is that it was very dark, but very enjoyable. Did we need a young Han Solo movie? Not really, but is it enjoyable? Yeah, it's pretty enjoyable. I liked it just as much the second time as I did the first time. There's no glaring flaws in it. All the flaws are minor, minor story beats, a little too cut and dried how everything happens. He basically goes from this movie to being a fully formed Han Solo as we know him in, episode 4, even though there's plenty of years between then, which is a little lazy writing-wise. But, I mean, what can you do? I'm sure they weren't sure if they were going to get a second movie to go through, especially since they had to fire the directors halfway through and get Ron Howard to come in and fix it.
Which is good.
And honestly, if you count that in, it's goddamn amazing. Because most movies that have director's changes are fucking train wrecks.
Yeah, usually they are.
So I note that, like I said, it was dark. All the scenes that weren't dark, like the train heist early on, any of the scenes that weren't dark were great. But then the dark one was like, this is not good. I can't tell what's going on as much. This is not as enjoyable. It's not Star Wars. Star Wars is never, they're dark. They're a trash compactor. It's dark, but you can still make out all the details because of the way they do lighting.
Yeah.
And this was just, I don't know what happened, but they missed the mark. And that may be the biggest problem. They just missed the mark. It was a niche movie because not everyone wants to see a young Han Solo. I did love what I see. I still maintain that goddamn, what's his name is Lando Calrissian? Childish Gambino.
Yeah.
What the fuck is his name?
You got me right now.
It was pretty funny, though. He was pretty good.
He was very good. Sometimes when he was talking, you could hear Billy D saying him. And that's a great compliment to him. Donald Glover.
Yes.
Oh, not that drunk. He was great. I would love to see a Lando Calrissian movie with him. I would love to see a second movie with him and Han together, but we won't because he gets the Millennium Falcon in this movie. Spoiler, it's been out for long enough. It's on fucking home video, everything. Oh my god, Han Solo gets the Millennium Falcon? What? It's not really a spoiler. But he gets it in this movie, so it's unlikely you'd ever see that, which is too bad because I feel like of all the people in this movie, Woody Harrelson, he's great. He's Woody Harrelson. He's a goddamn veteran. And he proves it every time he's in a movie. He just delivers solid movies every time. And I really would have liked to see them take this slower, make a less grandiose story and something a little more slower. But they go whole hog, and it's still enjoyable. Enjoy the crap out of it. The visuals are good, as usual. Explains everything in one movie, which is great since they're not going to get a second one. but also bad because you didn't tease people for a second one. You'd go like, well, how did this happen? Like, why is the Falcon's computer so crazy? Well, you know that. How did he get the Falcon? Well, you know that. How did you do the Kessel Run? You know that too. It all happens in the same movie, which is a little too neat and tidy for me. So, a lot of... I really think Han Solo would have been a great, a better TV series. Netflix series, Disney streaming service series, whatever you do. Like that Mandalorian series they're making. It would have been much better. Or the Cassian Andor series they're apparently making. Fuck yes! I'm in on that. But in any case, it's still solid. I'm going to give it shot and a half of Kraken. Sorry, 1.5 space herpes. It's good, but between the dark and the fact that it's just too neat and tidy, it's never going to be great. It's always going to be good. Yes, and everyone, a mini series would have been fine, but one movie is not the answer.
Yeah, I could see you saying it would have been better as a mini series, but I mean that's just kind of how we have to go with it. I do
also want to say that the droid in it, I understand they're trying to play it off of K2SO and make a funny droid, but I felt like that droid, while interesting what it said, it was a little too much at points. It was a bit too much. There's a little too much in all the movie. They need to pare it down a little bit, make it tighter, but still good. Love all the actors, you know. Watch it, buy it. I bought it. Hell, I even bought a damn Blu-ray player for my mom so she could see it. Being now the official most expensive movie I've ever purchased, as it cost me basically $80 fucking to get Solo. But I'm not disappointed because my mom liked it, so hey, It's all good. Now I don't have to worry about buying DVDs for her. She can just buy Blu-rays.
Yep.
Jackie, you've got something else, don't you?
I do. The next thing's relatively short, and since you opened the door to Solo, I will begin by giving a couple points added to yours to Solo. A couple things I didn't like about the movie, although I love the movie. It was visually very stimulating. It had a great job at showing some origin stories of Solo and Chewie and these other characters, but not the Millennium Falcon. They're one of the most unique ships in the entire universe, and you're like, here it is, he has it. Yep, that's it. Like,
yeah,
it's like it itself is an engineered wonder for that universe, and you'd think it would have some type of backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing about the movie, and it has a lot to do with the pace, like you said, was it introduces characters who are relatively new, or maybe were in a comic somewhere, like you should have already known exactly who they were. And there's a lot of scenes where someone takes off their helmet. It's a big deal. And you're like, who is this guy? And afterwards you Google it, and you're like, oh, it was actually nobody. Doesn't really mean anything.
Look, it's Warwick Davis. I mean, I know who he is as an actor, but doesn't mean anything in the series.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And my last thing with some of the character development, towards the beginning, Solo has a very traumatizing appearing military career. He's in active battle. And after he is out of that situation, he's just like, his character experiences little to no trauma from being in active combat, whereas another main female character is experiencing a ton of trauma from only like a 3-year period that you don't even get to know about. So as far as that, again, character development was really rushed. There wasn't much more behind it.
To be fair, I think you could have made the fact that Solo didn't get attached to anyone and thus doesn't have any PTSD a point of his character. While he doesn't care about these other people, they're just tools to get him to be a pilot, to get off the planet, and to go save her. That would have been a good point to bring out, but they missed that mark too. But
yeah, I guess with what you're saying, his constitution's so strong, he's like the Hobbit of the Star Wars universe.
I mean, honestly, I don't know about PTSD. I don't have it. I mean, it's bad that veterans have it. I wish there was a way to help them more. But if he doesn't care about anyone, is it really traumatic? Because he doesn't. He doesn't feel like the kind of guy who has that bond of brothership with the rest of those poor troopers out there. He don't care. He just wants to get out of it alive.
So then carrying on to my actual media section. So this is future media. Tomorrow I'm going to see what's going back in theaters is the animated Batman series, Mask of the Phantasm.
Goddamn right.
Yeah. I really liked it as a kid. It's one of my favorite Batman movies. It is my husband's favorite Batman movie, so we definitely had to get tickets for opening night for it in our area.
You just said as a kid, it hurt me because I saw it in the theater and I wasn't a kid.
See, it came out in '93. I was 3. Well, maybe
I had graduated high school.
Graduated. I was
No, it is
2
literally.
years.
I will say, it's a knockdown, drag-out fight between that and Batman Begins for my actual favorite Batman movie. Those I think, are the two purest Batman movies. And I'm there. I'm going tomorrow with a buddy, the Jason. We're gonna go see it in the theater.
Cool.
It's got to. I mean, come on. And just as a note,
Die Hard on Wednesday if you want to see it in the theater.
But it's not Christmas time. Not yet.
it's almost. It's close enough.
But a couple of notes about the Batman Mask of the Phantasm. So, not to give spoilers to anybody who hasn't seen it in the past, 18 years it's been out. I always really enjoyed it's a story of young Bruce Wayne and one of his first or real true loves, and I just really enjoy how the perfect first date for them is they meet at a graveyard, both mourning their parents' deaths, and it's just so edgelord. He's like, "Why are you here?" And she's like, "I'm celebrating or mourning my mother's death." And he's like, "Yeah, me too. Let's go have drinks."
But it doesn't define them. I mean, it defines them both in certain ways, but doesn't consume them yet. It's a really good Batman story because it's actually got Batman character development. It's great.
Yeah, and you get to see a lot of since you're not seeing I don't want to say super Batman, but final form Batman, where he's got his car and his suit and everything, and he's just like, I'm a cat burglar who's really good at jujitsu, and you get to see a lot of his follies and not as really badass scenes, which he gets later on in the series, of course.
Absolutely. If you guys are near a theater doing a Phantasm event for it, and you can make the time Monday, 7 p.m., go see it.
That's what we are. Yep. I think it's the only showing. Am I wrong with that?
2 p.m. also, for those of you who don't have to work. I have to work.
I do too. Maybe that's why just 7 p.m. ended up being.
7 p.m. Fathom apparently is doing 2 and 7 as a standard because that's the same showings for Die Hard then. And also, if you guys care, just because we're on the subject, the weekend after Thanksgiving is the original Superman movie with Christopher Reeve in the theater Sunday and Wednesday. Look into it. It's worth it. I'm going to go see that too because why not?
I think that's it. Everybody good?
I mean, if you've got one more to review if you want to. I've got one more I could review, but I've reviewed it a couple times already, so...
I can hold off on that one. I can hold off on because we're coming to the end.
Is it the thing again?
No, mine is The Losers again. Brad wanted to... Bania and my roommate wanted to watch The Losers, so I'm like, sure, I'll pop that in. Why not? It's a good movie. I enjoy it.
Uh-oh. Xander just called us out that we're going to be stopping on time for once.
I mean, it happens once in a while. Even a broken clock's right twice a day, Xander Warlord.
It goes, oops, spoke too soon. Well, guys,
just a little longer, just so you're wrong.
Well, that's the end of this episode, guys. Thanks for joining us. We want to thank Broken Egg Games, Mechanica Studios, and Tectonic Crush Studios for sponsoring us. We also want to thank you all for doing this. Keep an eye on our Patreon account. We have things coming up. Of course, thanks Jackie for always being our third wheel when we need her. Technically fourth wheel. Be on the lookout for new episodes. We do have a Rolling Dice coming out, and probably Dawn of the Harbinger soon. We got to check with the rest of the cast.
Mediocre Trouble in the Big Easy, episode 2.
Fanny Pack of Doom.
Fanny Pack of Doom. Other than that, for More Than Dice, I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm not Kathy.
Man. Ooh, I spilled something on the carpet. That's not good.
Oh, no.
I didn't finish my liquor. I gotta finish my liquor real quick. Hold on. That tastes like shit.
I also finished mine, but I'll wait because my stomach is still no bueno. But I made it for the whole cast, so yay!